Peace and love, family. Get right with the Most High. Listen, we'll get into a video of how civil war can happen in America. Is it possible? Yes. Do I believe left or right? No. As the people to open their eyes, the elites, it's a class war. The elites versus the haves versus the have-nots. That's what I believe. Would there be a class war? Yes. Are people tired of it? Yes. But we're going to get into it and see how he came up with it and all that. So we're going to get into this video. All right, family. We're going to get into this video with Professor G of how we could get into a civil war. Let's get into it. I kind of was the beginning of it because he threw like an analogy and get to the meat and potatoes of it, okay? So let's get into it.
This, okay? We will look at the civil conflicts in America, in Israel, and in Iran to figure out why they behave the way they do, and then figure out how this war will progress. Okay, so clearly there is a civil conflict right now in America. Okay, you have the Democrats and you have the Republicans. Now what's odd is that even though these two different political parties are at war with each other, they both support the war.
Of course they do. That's not odd. What are you talking about? That's not odd at all. Of course they're going to support it. Why wouldn't they support it?
Because their calculus is different, okay? So why do the Democrats support this war? Well, it's because they believe that this war will be extremely unpopular in America, which will allow the Democrats to dominate in the midterms in November and then win the presidential election in 2028. And they believe that this will be so unpopular, it will destroy Donald Trump and allow Democrats to rule forever. It will basically.
Donald Trump was already doing that before the war. He just made it a lot worse. So he did. He made it way worse. But let's continue.
Destroy the Republican Party. All right? And so that is your strategy. And if you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense. The Republicans have a different strategy, which is this war may be unpopular, and this war may make America lose, but it's okay. Why? Because in a time of war, the president has something called the Emergency Powers Act, okay? Emergency powers. Emergency powers allows the president to essentially suspend the Constitution and to suspend or delay elections. Also, the Republicans want to pass something called Save America Act. Okay? The Save America Act, which means that if you are a voter, you must present ID in order to vote. And you think that this is, reasonable, but historically, the idea of checking ID is a way to discriminate against minorities, right? To have police officers there.
It's not to discriminate against minorities, man. Everybody has an ID. How was that? I'm a minority. Okay? It doesn't do that. Everybody has an ID. If you do tobacco, guess what? You need an ID. If you drink alcohol, you need an ID. If you go into a bar, you need an ID. So that's discrimination? Come on, dude. That's not, whatever.
To scare minorities. And that's traditionally how racism was enforced in America. Okay? So, in other words,
Hold on. Now, do the police do stuff out of line? Yes. Yes, they do. But scaring minorities with ID, I don't get that one, but let's continue.
the Republicans have many different strategies of either cheating or manipulating the elections. They could also, I have to say this, but if the war's going really badly, what they will do is call up a national draft and cancel the elections. Okay.
Sure. Having people to have ID to vote, it's not cheating, if that's what you're implicating, okay? It's not cheating. Everybody has an ID. Everybody. It's not cheating. What we shouldn't have is real ID. That's what we shouldn't have. But let's continue.
Okay? All right? So these are two different strategies going on. But as you can see, this is not really about America defeating Iran. This is really about the Democrats or Republicans trying to obtain power and keep it, okay? All right. But what's important for us to understand is that it's not just about the Democrats and Republicans at war with each other. There's actually a much deeper divide in America, okay? And this divide is a conflict between the elite and the counter-elite. Remember how we introduced the idea of elite overproduction, right? This is the Peter Turchin idea. And he argues that what leads to civil war is that you have too many elite who want to be the ones in power. Power is a zero-sum game, and therefore, when you have elite overproduction, they have to go to war against each other in order to have the power. Okay? And so, what's going on? Who are the elite and who's the counter-elite? Well, I mean, to put it very simply, the Democrats represent the elite, and the Republicans represent the counter-elite, okay? So, basically the elite is the empire. And counter-elite is MAGA, which is America First. And so they have two different ideals for America. The empire is to maintain the current global order, right? And MAGA is to retreat back into the Western Hemisphere and focus on Americans' core national interests. Right. They're also divided into finance and AI. Okay? So in other words, Wall Street are the main backers of the current elite, and then Silicon Valley are the main backers of the counter elite.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm confused. All right. So the Democrats are for the elites, but the Republicans are not for the elites. They both for the elites. What are we talking about here? Silicon Valley is the elites. Wall Street is the elites. So it's two groups of elites fighting each other, and we getting bamboozled on which side of the elites we should be on when they both abusing the system. Because if you look at it, if it's a counter elite, why are they opening up all these data centers? I mean, yeah. This don't make no sense to me at all, but I'm continuing. He usually got good stuff, but this don't make sense to me at all.
Okay? So these people are interested in maintaining the status quo. They are interested in a revolution. Right? And so this is the main divide in America that will eventually lead to a civil war, like an actual civil war. Okay? But right now, they're fighting over foreign policy. So I will discuss this more in the future, okay?
I wish you would have spoke about it now. I wish you would have spoke about it now because you lost me. Because they both under status quo. You can see it right now with the stuff that they push. Both sides. They both understand. MAGA don't even count because MAGA is done and over with. That's done and over with. For real. And the elites was the ones that gave Trump a lot of money. So, and he's a part of the elites. So I'm kind of lost here because they both control the government. And it's just the elites. Whether it's AI or the Wall Street finance, they both control the government. So they both doing what they want done. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of, that's not, you're talking about a civil war between the government? That's what you're talking about? Or a civil war with the people? Let's continue.
But I present to you now. So let me give you a concrete example of why they're fighting. Why are people in finance fighting with people in AI? And there's a very good reason. Because if you're able to control Washington, D.C., if you're able to control the levers of government, you're able to make a lot of money for yourself, okay? So let's look at this concretely. Okay, what people don't really understand is that both finance and AI are bubbles.
I agree with you on that. It's a bubble, and it's going to pop. It's definitely going to pop. People just better get ready for it. It's going to happen sooner than people think. But you kind of lost me.
That will burst. They're parasites, okay? So finance is a parasite because there's something called a private credit bubble, right? Private credit bubble, the idea of private credit is very simple. Rather than banks issuing loans to companies, companies privately issue loans to other companies. And you would think that these companies would be very careful with who they lend to and how much they lend to, right?
Yeah, but hold on.
That's not true though, okay? Why? Because in 2008, these banks destroyed the global economy and the American government bailed them out, right? They suffered no consequences. This idea of moral hazard. If you do not suffer consequences for your stupidity, well, you're just going to be more stupid in the future.
Well, I agree with you on that. I definitely agree with you on that. But you're not telling people what private credit is. Private credit is your 401k that they're loaning out. That's what private credit is. They're taking your money and lending out to companies that are risky. And they bankrupt. That's what's going on. But you didn't say that part.
Okay? So these companies believe that we control Washington, D.C., therefore we can be as risky and stupid as we want. So they're giving out lots and lots of silly loans to companies because they collect a fee for these loans, right? And then when these loans don't actually work out, meaning the companies go bankrupt, what they do is they say, oh, we'll lend you some more money to keep afloat, okay? So now this problem has reached about $2 trillion. And so they think that, okay, well, worst case scenario, the government will bail us out if we all go bankrupt because we're too big to fail. And all our friends are in government.
Well, the government will bail them out because they're playing with people's 401ks and stuff like that. But you're talking about private equity. Let me keep on. Hold on.
Okay? That's their mentality. And in 2008, that worked. But there's a problem today, which is there's also another group that's doing the same crap, okay? And it's called the AI bubble. All right, so if you look at AI bubble, you got companies like Microsoft, OpenAI, Oracle, NVIDIA, okay, lots and lots of different companies. And the way they operate is they just lend money to each other, okay? It's like, I give you $1 billion, then you give me $1 billion, and now we have $2 billion. Okay, it's a circle jerk.
Yeah, it's a circle jerk. You're absolutely right about that. It's definitely a circle jerk. But let's continue.
And it's getting a lot of money from the GCC and other investors. The problem, of course, is what's happening in the war, right? So if the GCC can no longer put more money into this bubble, then eventually this bubble will have to burst. But they're like, that's okay. Why? Because we control Trump. We control the White House. We are the stock market. Therefore, Washington, D.C. will bail us out. Okay? So that's the war going on, where you have two parasitic forces, the finance sector and the tech sector, and they are all looking for government bailouts when their bubble bursts. But the government doesn't have infinite money. It can only bail out one side, right? So they're going to fight over the government. They're going to fight over who bails who out, okay? If the Democrats can win the House and the presidency in 2028, then the private credit people will get bailed out. But if Trump and his people stay in power in 2028, then the AI people will get bailed out, okay? So that's the civil war going on in America right now. We'll discuss this more later in the future, but I just present to you right now, okay?
Okay, I get where you're going with it. You're talking about between the Democrats and the Republicans. I thought you're talking about our society as a whole. Okay, that makes more sense. Now, here's the problem. That, because you're talking about in the future, so you should have just did the whole lecture with it. They can't bail out either or. They might be able to bail out one or the other, but either which way, what makes more sense for them to bail out? The private equity, which is the finance, which is BlackRock, State Street, or the oligarchs, okay? Why? Because they have people 401ks in it, all right? So AI, that's private investors and stuff like that, and the GCC, they might just bail them out because they need a GCC. Who knows? All right, so, well, we'll see. It's going to pop regardless. I don't think nobody should be able to get bailed out. Nobody bails you out when you make a mistake. The government don't help you at all, but they help everybody else. Peace and love. I'll catch you on the next one.